What's going on, guys? Scott Newby here with Bass Brings Us Together, and this is episode 1 of Home Theater Chronicles. And like I explained in the video before this, just trying to bring enthusiasts, people that are just getting into it, people that have been into it for a while, just kind of get their thoughts on the setup, what they think of the home theater hobby, what's important to them, what's not, and just cover a few basic questions that seem to get asked a lot, not only in our community, but a lot of other home theater, home audio communities. Today I got my buddy Benjamin with me.
Hey, how's it going?
And so just first and foremost, Benjamin, what was your initial reaction? I mean, for you guys that don't know, I'm in a pretty small to medium sized room, about 14 by 16 feet. So a lot of people could accommodate some form of setup in it. What are your initial thoughts of everything?
I, it's mind blowing, is what it is. The clarity and the crispness of the sound, and to the just absolute devastation of the sub hits. It's absolutely fantastic.
Now, when I usually people come over for demos, if it's a huge event, small event, just one person come over, a husband and wife that want to get in the hobby, I usually kind of play the same material, which covers a lot of everything. We did a little bit of animation, we did women's voices, men's voices, some music, some explosions to kind of give an all-around feel. Um, Now, I see a lot of questions come up, and that's what I want to ask Benjamin about. Benjamin's a fellow enthusiast like you guys if you're watching this channel. So, first off, now I do run acoustic. Yeah, see, Cat's going to kill me. I always want to fucking say acoustic. Acoustic transparent screen now, a Seymour 115-inch screen. So, the first question I want to ask you, Benjamin, because I see this question asked a lot. So, your face to this screen is roughly about 9.5 feet right now, which creates about a 48-degree viewing angle. So, in your opinion, do you feel like we should be closer, further away? Like, how do you feel about the immersion of a 48-degree viewing angle? And the reason why I'm asking this, people, is because a lot of people say, oh, I don't know if I want a 60, a 50, a 40. So we're just sharing our thoughts, and Benjamin sharing his thoughts. What's good for him or me might not be good for you. But this is to just kind of give you guys a general idea. So how do you feel about a 48-degree viewing angle?
It really it seems a bit, not, I don't want to say small, but like it's a great size. It's just, I like the screen a little bit closer. Um, I think I think that's just kind of, I have three 32-inch triple monitors for at home that I generally use, and they're this far away from my face, so I'm a bit biased there, but it's a really great size for like watching a movie or you know.
Yeah, and there's definitely no wrong, and this is all going to be unedited. There's absolutely no wrong answers. And like when I first set this screen up and Kat came down and watched it, actually kind of gave her nauseousness. She's like, wow, it's too big and there's too much going on. So this is why it's important, because if Benjamin was going to build a room and he's like, okay, well, I would either need a bigger screen at that same distance, or I would maybe need to pull that in a foot, and it's all personal preference. So that's, and he's used to a lot of action close to his face. So he, building a home theater, would prefer the screen to either be larger for one or closer for another. So now that, while we're still talking about the screen, so with the acoustic, yeah, fuck, it's acoustic. Yes,
Acoustic, yeah.
man, I'm never gonna live this down. I have it my whole life. So I know some concerns, and I've seen it brought up, is two things: is you do lose a little bit of brightness with that, because there's obviously it's a woven screen, so there's light penetrating through it, so sound can come through it from the back. So Benjamin, two questions: is do you feel like we were missing out on any like brightness or contrast? Like, did the picture look washed out, like you were craving more?
You know, honestly, absolutely not. It was, the colors popped really well. It was really, um, at least for my eyes, like it 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 was honestly perfect. Because I don't want too much when I'm sitting down watching a movie. I don't want too much brightness back at me.
Hmm.
You know, like for instance, that the 32s I was just talking about, they have HDR, and they're super super bright, I turn them way down because I it's just too much for me. And this is honestly perfect.
Yeah, and I feel that way, and that's why this is up because this is HDR too, but
Okay.
in a projector, it's just they're not as strong as HDR like a monitor. See, I can watch movies for hours on a picture on a projection screen. On some TV sets, now TVs are more sharper, have deeper colors, but I feel like I get strained more with
Yeah.
that. So I can certainly appreciate that answer. Now the other question with this kind of screen is people say, well, the screen is blocking or distorting the sound. Is that muffling? Are you still, can you hear people intelligibly speak? Do you understand what's going on? What's your thought of that with the center channel right behind the screen?
Honestly, I couldn't even notice a difference between like a I couldn't hear anything that was, and I've got pretty decent ears. A little background. I did some DJ work and stuff like that. So like I'm a little tuned in, and I didn't hear any muffling or anything like that. It was all just super crystal clear.
Okay. That's good. Because I know a lot of you guys don't want to drop money on a screen like this and feel like you were losing out. I myself was very skeptical of that first too, and I was like, oh, I hate to spend money to decrease anything, but I'm certainly glad that I made the switch. It cleaned up the front end a lot. So now moving away from the screen, another thing that I see in every single group, including our own community, is Dolby Atmos. Is it worth it? It's gimmicky. Anytime I've experienced it, I'm not convinced that there's anything going on overhead. So in this particular setup on the Dolby Atmos clips that we were watching, um, what did you think of the? Did you like just what? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Just what was your experience with the Dolby Atmos
Um,
experience?
so watching the clips, I was kind of like it's cool, like it's fine. And then we listened to the or watched the Godsmack concert, and I went, wow, like there's so much of a difference between um and I wasn't even honestly paying that much attention to what you chose on there, but I saw it definitely wasn't Dolby Atmos. And
No, yeah, it was a DTX mix,
okay,
and then it was up mixing to activate the Atmos speakers. Yeah.
okay, and there was a very very noticeable difference. It was like the sound just wasn't quite as immersive. Like when they did when we watched the what's that, the one with the porcupine.
Oh, sing.
Yeah, yeah. In Sing, like you could hear the crowd all around, and in the Godsmack concert, he started having people clap, and it was just like you could hear it. I mean, you could hear it just fine, but it just wasn't quite as immersive.
What, the Godsmack concert?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that wasn't mastered because that was 20-year-old
Right. Yeah.
DVD. So do you feel like during Sing or the Dolby Atmos demos, like it was?
Yeah, especially during the glass breaking. I mean, you could hear it. Like I wouldn't have guessed that you, because I don't even know. Do you have speakers up there?
Yeah, there's four
Okay.
speakers. Yeah, up
Yeah.
in the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. It was noticeably above me.
Okay, so what I'm gathering from this, Benjamin is saying that during recording where we were using Nut Mixer, it wasn't as convincing, but during an actual Dolby Atmos track, he was convinced that there was stuff
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's cool. Because I know a lot of people question it because you have to cut holes in your ceiling, you got to buy more speakers, you got to buy more amplifiers. So is it worth your investment? And if you can't make it to some place to check it out, you're kind of buying blind. So hearing another enthusiast talk about it certainly makes it worthwhile. Um, Another thing that I want to touch on quick is, and this has been a hot topic for some time now, is first of all, a lot of subwoofers in one room. You guys know that, that's what I kind of do over here. And we're running all ported subwoofers. So that's why another reason why I play a huge mixture of material, music, explosions, singing. I kind of give everybody everything from any genre, whatever, within that half hour demo, there's a lot going on. So at any point, like, just explain how do you think that the bass experience was?
Um. Well, for one, it's uh literally breathtaking. It is quite that loud. But it's incredibly clear, and it's like I don't know how to put it into words, how literally moving it is. It's but it's super clear and it's crisp, and like you don't get those big like washy subwoofer sounds that you do in a car sometimes, like when like I had two L7s, and I mean they were great for power, but you just didn't get that nice crisp clean hit a lot of the time, and with these you do.
So even during like so the drums obviously they were drumming fast. You felt like that was accurate, like
Yeah,
reproduction. Okay.
yeah, it was very very clean.
Because a lot of people question like, oh, I don't really want to do a ported sub with music just because it could get sloppy or it's not as fast. So a lot of that comes down to obviously the kind of ported sub that you get. There's could be bad products of anything, obviously, and then also calibration is key. And speaking of that, so like, how do you feel about the custom calibration that I did in this room? Like, at any point where you're like, oh, the center is too loud, or these surrounds are too loud, or like was there anything that you thought, and you're not going to hurt my feelings because I did the room the way that I like it,
Yeah.
and not everybody's going to like that, but what do you think of just like the overall sound? Like, do you feel like it was dialed in, or for you personally, like, oh, I would have listened to it lower or louder, or I would have had the center channel higher? Just what was your, because see, and what I'm getting down to is we're listening to all horn speakers here. Some people are scared to buy horns because they could become harsh if or and then other people don't want to buy like a regular diaphragm tweeter because they're afraid they wouldn't have the output to play at like reference levels or above. So just what was your experience of like, now during the movie clips we listened to reference level with the subs about 14 dB hot. The Godsmack we listened to about 20 dB above reference. So that was for about, it was for a little bit, not crazy long, and then we did a huge demo at the end. But for the majority of it, I mean, we were at reference, which not everybody listens to, but people would at least know. At reference, how do you like? How did your ears feel? How did you feel about that level of sound with a compression driver speaker?
Yeah, and at reference it was very it was still really crisp, really clean. It was maybe a touch lower than I might listen to, just because I'm a little half deaf. My left ear is probably a little bit lower than my right, and I had a little bit of maybe trouble hearing on the left side. Um, but like it was, oh, and I'm being critical. That's super critical.
Well, and
But
that's what we want. That's
yeah,
and so basically Benjamin was setting this room up. The left surround he might kick up a couple dB just because all of our hearing. If 10 of us went to go take a hearing test, we're all going to be all over the board.
yeah.
So that's so. But coming from like a compression driver speaker, you didn't feel like harshness or fatigue or anything like that.
No, it was really really clean and clear, and not it was very comfortable at reference. It was I think it was super comfortable. It was like a great level to listen to.
And then now the last question I'm going to ask is, I see a lot of people say, or either they don't know about doing room treatments or they don't want to go. Now room treatments in the scheme of all of it is one of the lower cost things that we all can do. So in this room, I've treated this room. So like from an echo standpoint, now did you feel like, was was the sound tight and controlled, or did you notice like some reverberation, or were you ever confused at any point, like, wow, I don't really know what's going on, or something seems like it's off? Because the whole point of us treating the room is to tighten that sound and make it accurate. And did you feel like there could be maybe more work done, or it was right, or like just what was your thoughts on that?
No, I mean it was the level of clarity and crispness, and um just being acoustically accurate throughout the entire demo was uh it was outworldly. this is honestly, I think it's perfect.
Well, I appreciate that. And as you guys know, I'm running the Anthem processor, Rotel amps, full JTR Dolby Atmos setup, the Seymour screen, JVC projector. I built in my mind what I thought would be, a great time. I'm just sharing it with fellow enthusiasts. A lot of you that watching this possibly have come through. Can't wait to get your thoughts on all the updates because right now this room is done. I wanted to start these videos much earlier in this process, but I was always working on something. So now that this room is done, I don't know. It's nice to have. Actually, you're the first. This is episode 1, so it's cool to get Benjamin in here, get his thoughts on everything. I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, keep an eye out. I don't know how many. The thing with these episodes, it's going to be is sometimes I get 15 people over in a month. Sometimes there's busy months for me or other people that can't come by. And not everybody's comfortable about being on camera. They just want to come by and check it out. The camera can be intimidating, so I understand that. So as I get the material, I'll push it out to you guys, all unedited with their thoughts. I'll do a little editing and clean stuff up, but I'll even his critiques, that's all going to stay in this because I want you guys to know the raw footage of what he thought. And if you come over here, give me your honest opinion. Nothing will hurt my feelings. We all build our systems the way that we see fit and what we enjoy. I just like answering some questions that I see commonly in the group. So till the next video, crank it up. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys later.